Monday, 9th of February 2026. Time is 3:30 p.m. and I made the phone call approximately 1:30 p.m. I got notes here. Now, a lot of the times I'm doing these are just off the cuff, and that's why I make mistakes and I forget things and embarrassing. I don't have an auto cue, I don't have a cameraman, I don't have sound mixer. I have me and a camera. And the best thing about this I found is it's just a way for me to make, well, for want of a better word, content quicker than sitting at a keyboard. Invariably I lose track of myself and I find different bits of information, and the letters and the articles get longer and longer, and it's just a lot of work. This is perfect for just getting my thoughts out, and in this case, making a prediction. Now, I love mental acts. Magic is something I've always been fascinated with. I hope it's not too much of a secret to you out there that magic isn't real. But Penn and Teller do a really great job of showing that off. But sometimes life can be magic, and I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm also proving to myself that I'm as good as I think I am sometimes. A few days ago, a clapperboard popped up on an auction site, and I immediately looked at it and I went, fake, fake, fake. And you know, the truth about it is that's pretty much always a knee-jerk reaction these days. There's a lot of bad stuff around. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the prop world. I, for one, try not to get involved with it, because, you know, the thing is I'm just disappointed as the next person with the amount of stuff out there in the market. You know, it seems to come from, you know, the same kind of movies. It's Star Wars, it's Harry Potter, it's superhero stuff. And at this point, it's very hard to tell what's good and what isn't, which is why, unless I get something from a very reputable source, and I know them personally, I've never been interested in those properties anyway, so it's very easy for me to not be dwelling in them. But anyway, back to the prediction. So I called the auction house today and asked them specific questions about the board, and I already had a feeling, that magical feeling that you get when you're really into something and you've done it a long time. It's hard to explain what it is. It's just like this ability that you have, you know, to it's the feels, I call it. Anyway, I never operate solely on them. It's also based on pure fact and logic. And so I basically saw this board, and it says on there Superman. It says Dick Donner, the director, Richard Donner. I didn't like that instantly. I'm like, why would this person use a smaller, you know, non-formal? Every board I've seen has said Richard Donner. But I do know Dick is also a word he went through by his friends and also people on set who knew him well. And so I was half and half with that. The board is an American board. It's not an English board. That was a problem too, because nearly all the boards I've seen from this production have been the black and white ones from England. But then I saw the name of the cameraman, and I think it was Bob Balin. And I did a little bit of research, and I looked him up, and lo and behold, that's the man who shot the aerial plate footage for Christopher Reeve to fly in front of. That felt good. Also putting together two and two and realizing, well, that was all shot in America. That would be why this board might be American. That also felt really good as well. So I called up the auction house, who is, I think the gentleman's name was Alex, Millia Brothers in Blonton, New Jersey. They don't deal in movie props and memorabilia. I called him and he said, well, how can I be of assistance? Very nice conversation. The gentleman basically said that the person who brought it in had no information to go with it. So basically what you see is what you get. So there are no other clapperboards coming from that source. The board doesn't have a history. It's just this thing that feels some right in some ways and some wrong in others. Another thing on it, MOS, melt out sound. So that footage that was taken on that board didn't include sound. Well, lo and behold, any footage taken of flying in Metropolis or flying through the hills and mountains of the US didn't need sound. They just added that later. So that was a good thing. But you know what? Here's my prediction. The top piece of tape was clearly lifting away. And I asked him to gently pull that away. But I said, if it's glued, do not pull it. And he said, no, that is actually not glued in place. It can be lifted. And the words underneath were and then he said the magic words, great. Well, Bob Balin worked as aerial photography on Superman. And then lo and behold, I looked at his early history. He was a cinematographer. He was head of photography on the great Wally Enders. That was a film that was released a year before Superman. So yes, this is the aerial plate photography board for Superman. It's Monday today. I now have to wait 11 days, I think, for that auction. There are 30 lookers at it. There are 30 people looking to bid on it. I have no idea if they're going to find this information out. I have no idea if they managed to work it out. We will see on the day. Right now, the item is at about $325 for 3 bids. Previous boards have gone anywhere from a few thousand up to, I think, 40,000 for one that was in perhaps Julian's. I personally think this is an incredible piece of cinematic history. This is the board that photographed all of the flying sequences to go behind Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. That to me is just cinematic history. And I believe 100% what it is now. So I'm going to be bidding on this, and you won't see this video until I put it together with the actual video of the board in my hands, so I can 100% see this in my own eyes and hopefully be able to see some of the other information under the director and the cinematographer information. I've already decided what this is. I know in my heart this is 100% what it is. It doesn't really, I know a lot of people are going to look at this and poo-poo it. I can already feel it. I did too when I first saw it. But that's why I'm making this video, because I want people to see the thought process. I want to believe the thought process myself, because sometimes I'm a huge doubter of what I do. But in this case, I'm right. This is the aerial photography clapperboard. Just, you know, about this big, but made to, you know, perfect size to fit in an airplane cockpit, in a helicopter. And certainly the American board, because that was shot in America, in New York and other parts of the US. So you'll see me in a minute, and I'll either be holding that board or I'll tell you the story of how I lost it. And I got my fingers crossed. I'd really love to have that. But I think, unlike most people going into that auction, I know a lot more now than almost all of them. And we'll just see. Fingers crossed. So see you on the flip side.